Because sometimes your next financial breakthrough is not just creating a better budget, it's sometimes just being in a better room surrounded by people that are going to motivate you, that are going to support you and help you achieve your financial goals. I am talking about the people that you surround yourself with, because your friends and family can either expand your vision or shrink it all back down to survival mode. What if the reason your financial journey feels so heavy is not because you're lazy or behind or bad with money? What if it's because you are becoming a newer version of yourself while still surrounded by people that only know the old version of you? And I'm not talking about kicking your family members or your friendships to the curb. No, I am talking about when it comes to like money management, your financial goals, like investing, building wealth, even starting a business or just getting your financial shit together. I am talking about the people that you surround yourself with, because your friends and family can either expand your vision or shrink it all back down to survival mode. And I know I have dealt with this because when it came to investing, I still hear this actually from family members. Like every time I buy another property or whatever, they're like, oh, wow, that's too much debt. That's too much risk, yada, yada, yada. And if I was just to listen to that and hear their advice or just their concerns, I would not be where I am today. And I am not talking about that they are being toxic or anything like that. Sometimes it just comes from wanting to protect you, especially like your family or your friends. They might be coming from a place of financial anxiety, of financial trauma. I know that's the case with my family. Every time they say this to me, I know it's stemming from financial anxiety. And so that can really inhibit you. It can scare you off. It can feed into your own financial anxiety to the point where, like, you might avoid starting whatever financial goal it is that you're trying to achieve, or just, staying where you are at. So today, I want to talk about building intentional friendships, going out there and finding your people that have similar goals, similar mindsets. And we hear this all the time about your net worth is your network, or, your network is your net worth, whichever way you want to say it. And yes, of course, that comes into play, but I want to kind of dive a little bit deeper of making a connection, because I'm not talking about going to events and just collecting business cards just to build a network. I am talking about building meaningful relationships, friendships, a community that, is not just all about take, take, take. You also want to contribute and, eventually pass it forward and help the person that's coming behind you and not close the door behind you, obviously. Because sometimes your next financial breakthrough is not just creating a better budget. It's sometimes just being in a better room surrounded by people that are going to motivate you, that are going to support you and help you achieve your financial goals. But before we get into that, help me out a little bit. If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe, drop a comment down there. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, give a rating, share this episode, share it as a story on Instagram or whatever, because all of that just helps us grow and help reach more Latinas and help spread this message. So also don't forget that there's a lot of resources down in the description in the show notes. So definitely check that out. So again, I want to talk about building a community, building friendships, seeking out friendships with intention. And I wanted to talk about this because I just kind of, I guess, dawned on me, or I was just reflecting recently, because I just met up a new acquaintance, a new amiga out here that I found on Threads, which shout out to that. I don't really like Instagram too much. Instagram doesn't really like me. I can't figure out the algorithm right now. I have a new strategy that I'm going to implement to hopefully grow my Instagram, but Threads is a different level. I have met so many people through there and built my community and my network through there. And so it was the same case recently where, like, yeah, I've been, networking with other Latinas, but I really wanted to have somebody that's local that I can meet up with coffee because I need to get out the house. Like, I'm a mom, I work from home, my husband works from home, my sister works from home. Like, we're all just here. And although I love my terreno, I love going out here in my garden, love spending time with my sister, my family, my daughter, my dogs now. I have dogs again, and my chickens, and all of that is really relaxing. And yes, I'll have like co-working, where I have my friend Gabby. Gabby's the one that, shout out to her if you need branding, a website or anything like that. Man, she is bomb. She did Money Chisme and she's done other Latinas, and man, she really nails it out the park, which I am going to give a huge shout out to her. And she's actually coming back to the podcast to do another episode and kind of like do an update because she did a podcast episode about branding. I'll put that below, which again, part of the network. Right. I found her and build a friendship with her, and now we co work sometimes. And even though I have that, I still need, like I said, get out the house, but I also want to have intentional friendships. And so I went on Threads and I was just like, hey, anybody in the San Antonio area that is a Latina that owns a business, building a business, or X, Y, and Z, right? I had a whole spiel on there and I found Christina, which was already in my network, but we followed on Threads and on Instagram and here and there. And so come to find out, she's here in San Antonio. So we met up for coffee. And when I left, I felt so motivated. Like my cup was full, and she put me on events and resources, organizations that are here local because there's some goals of mine that I want to achieve and things I want to do. And so, like, I just came back like all motivated, and I have homework to do, the things that she gave me. And I just realized that, like, how far I've come ever since I shifted that mindset of making friends with intention and really trying to build those relationships, because I was just surrounded by, like I was in the military and my family members and things like that. So I was limited in kind of that mindset. I was just in that mindset of like, I'm just going to pay my bills. Yes, I'm going to save. Yes, I'm going to buy my house. But then once I started shifting to meeting people with different kind of financial goals and bigger aspiring goals, like my mind expanded. And then once I started making intentional network, because I feel like, to me there's a difference. Like, yeah, I could go to an event and network and make connections, but making friendships, it has been such a difference, because finding people that have similar goals, similar ambitions, similar values, that is a big difference. I feel seen, I feel heard, I feel supported, versus just going to a workshop or just a group meeting, whatever, with, yeah, they have similar financial goals. Like, they all serve a purpose. And I don't want you to have that takeaway of thinking that like you got to dump your friends. Everybody in your space can take up space in your life, right? Basically, for example, I'm a mom, so I'll have like, mom friends as well that I still want to have those relationships with intentions, because I have different view on how I want to raise my daughter. But she needs friends and play days and things like that. And also, you want just friendships that maybe you just want to have girl time, right? Someone to go have brunch and do your nails, all that. But if you are finding that you're going to hang out with somebody, and then when you bring up maybe building a business, investing in something, and you're finding that you're leaving those conversations kind of like feeling like you're crazy because maybe they're not in the same mindset right now, not saying that they can't ever be in that mindset, but maybe they're still dealing with financial anxiety and they're telling you like, oh no, girl, that's too risky. Like, that's loca. Why would you do that? Like, no, that's greedy shit. Like, that's rich people shit. Like, if you're finding similar conversations, and again, they might be coming from a place of protecting you and things like that. And again, they have to deal with their own financial anxiety stuff. Maybe it's time to find different friendships, right? That have those goals or are in that headspace or are doing the dang thing, right? And you can still keep them, but just know that like with them, I'm just going to go have brunch, have fun girl time. And then for my goals and building businesses and whatever, now I have this other friend group to do that with. And you will see how big of a difference, how much it will accelerate your financial journey. Because as I was reflecting, like that made a huge difference with me when I with real estate investing. Like I knew a few people and they kind of talked about it and I kind of mentioned it and I joined a Facebook group, but it didn't accelerate until I actually got into a tighter, smaller group and we just talk about it. Matter of fact, I have a meeting with them today with my support group for that. And they fill my cup because this is a military group, a veteran group. So we also talk about other aspects of military life and things dealing with that. But we're in real estate investing as well. And that serves its purpose. But now I have my Latina community, like for example, Christina, shout out to her. I will try to link her down below so you can follow her as well. She's awesome. And but she fills my cup in a different way because we're talking about Latina experience and our goals. We want to help other Latinas build their businesses with me. Of course, Money Chisme is the whole reason I started with this, which is how Money Chisme started was because I joined a network and then I was going to start it off as a blog, then it became a podcast, and now it became two podcasts. And so now I'm kind of like navigating that as well because I still want to keep Money Chisme as a resource, as sharing our stories and sharing my story. And then I also have Real Estate Chisme, where I really talk about investing in real estate tips, our journey. My co host, there is another Latina who's a real estate investor, and we really just, that's a good resource and network as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely check out the Real Estate Chisme podcast and also my community that I am growing. We are slowly growing. I just started it, and that's where I plan to also have a community with like-minded Latinas. It's open to anyone, but you know, it is catered to Latinas. So if you send me a request on there, just know I have some questions on there. Like, make sure that you're supporting the Latina. You're not coming in here starting shit or trying to overtake it. You can join, but I really am catering this for Latinas to support each other and help each other investing. And you could ask me questions there. So, anyways, that's down below. So, bringing it back is like if you are finding that you're leaving these meetups with your friends, then definitely go out there and start looking for a different network, different friendships that are going to fill your cup in that way. So again, once you get into it, I don't want to go too much into this and ramble too much because I don't want to take away from the plot of this episode, which is basically again just making intentional friendships. Like just do kind of like an audit, like reflect on who do you have or in your circle, what are your financial goals, and ask yourself, like what are you learning right now, what are your goals that you want to work towards or are wanting to, what's your mindset like, are these people having a positive mindset shift or are they just keeping you in that survival mode or just kind of a different mindset that you need to accomplish these financial goals, and figuring out what season you are in. And again, this obviously is for like money, right? Aspect, but it applies in all your aspects of your life. Again, I mentioned being a mom, but also like gardening. I'm homesteading, so I would like to get into a network with that. That it's going to help me learn because man, let me tell you, kind of like side note, this gardening season, this first year of homesteading has been a struggle, especially since this year, for some reason, San Antonio decided to get a whole bunch of rain, which has one, it rotted out my potatoes. So that was not fun. It just wasted my corn, like, has been not to par either. And then there's a whole bunch of grasshoppers that I didn't know about. So luckily I got chickens and hopefully that will fix it for next year. And then the trees I'm gonna have to dig up because this dirt is so like compacted. It's good dirt for some things, but it ends up becoming like basically a clay pot. So I think I have to dig up all my fruit trees and redo their root and maybe put better dirt that drains more so that way the roots actually grow out because I think they're kind of stunted right now. So I already did that to my avocado tree. Hopefully it doesn't die. But on the plus side, I grew some watermelon. I just cut one yesterday. Tasted really good. And I have like 5 more growing. My yellow squash has been growing like crazy. Had to replant it, and my tomatoes are doing okay. But yeah, anyways, sidetrack. Yeah, I want to make some friendships with homesteading to fill that cup. Of course, I have my amigas here that are for my money goals and things like that. So everybody can have some space in your thing, but when it comes to your money goals, just be aware of what friendships you are having for those things, like who you're talking about, building a business. Are they motivating you? Are they hyping you up? They're supporting you? Are they friendships that have resources? Again, like we have so many Latinas that are out here doing the thing. Like I have people that can teach you about investing in stocks, how to pay off debt, building a business, public speaking, me, real estate investing, and my co host. Like, I have so many things. So, whatever financial goal you might be going for, chances are I know somebody. So, don't hesitate to reach out and ask me if I know somebody or resources. There's communities out there. Some are paid, some are free. Just, yeah, feel free to drop a comment if you're watching on YouTube or whatever, or DM me or whatever for a resource. Or just go be nosy on my Instagram. My followers, not my followers, the people I'm following, all of them are mostly Latinas that are in some type of money thing, right? So check that out. You could always go snoop over there and see who you could follow that might motivate you or you might connect with, and so on. So, yeah, I'm going to end that there. Again, don't forget to share this. Resources are down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.